Hi, welcome to the Morton Matchday programme. Coming up in today's show, we have our usual discussion with Ian Murray ahead of the St Johnstone game this weekend. There's a special announcement to be made. Owen Moffat will be tracing the career path of his teammates. Aaron Comry is our player pre-match focus, and we go out with a classic strike against this weekend's opponents. First up though, the boys are back home again after a couple of weeks out on the road. Gareth caught up with the gaffer.
Ian, we're back at Capello tomorrow. We're facing St Johnstone, the current league leaders. What challenge are you expecting from this one?
Yeah, well, as hard as a game you can get on paper. Very good side, obviously. They're top of the league at this stage of the season for a reason, for the fantastic season, bouncing back really well from their disappointment of relegation from the Premier League. So full credit to them. We expect another extremely hard game here at Capello tomorrow.
And looking at the last two matches out against St Johnstone, has that been part of your message this week to the boys to try and use those results as motivation?
Yeah, to a certain extent. Obviously, these games are in the past, and shouldn't have too much of a bearing on tomorrow's performance or result. But certainly, you have to go back, good and bad, in terms of how we've performed against them and how we've set up against them, and where their strengths lie and where we think they may have some weaknesses. But when kick-off comes around tomorrow at 3 p.m, the players need to be ready. They need to be ready to battle first and foremost. We try and get a foothold in the game, and obviously try and build on that and get 3 points.
And we know that the quality that St Johnstone bring, they're of course a team that pose a large attacking threat as well. How are you looking to sort of deal with that and counter it?
Yeah, good players. Whatever rotation that they use. Peyton, Gullen, Fowler coming in as well in the January window. They all pose a serious threat. Sam Stanton can slot in there as well. So they've definitely got that sort of quality within their squad. There's no two ways about that. They're very, very well structured as a unit. They know exactly what they're doing with and without the ball. They like to get to wide areas and try and supply those front players as well. So we'll need to play well. Like any week in this division, to win games, you need to go out there and perform. But we have to focus on our good points as well, and we still believe, albeit we have got the suspensions within the squad and a couple of injuries within the squad, we still feel we're more than capable of going out there and competing.
And after a couple of weeks away from home, how good will it be to finally just get back out on the pitch here at Capello?
Yeah, delighted to get back. Our home form has been pivotal in where we've picked up points for the main part of this season. I've touched it before when I came in here and took the job, how hard a venue this is for opposition to come and get points and to come and play, and it's a really tight pitch, but we really like it. We've shown that in games against Ross County, Dunfermline and Raith Rovers. We want to build on that. We know it's going to be difficult, but as I said, all games are difficult, home or away, but certainly at home we feel we've got a decent opportunity. We've got great backing from the supporters that come and watch us, and it's up to us now to continue that.
Yeah, I mean, you touch on it there, but how important is it going to be for the boys to not so much forget about the last couple of weeks, but use those lessons and especially use the home form that we've had recently and use that as motivation? Yeah,
we do have to forget about the last couple of results, of course we do, but we also have to learn from them. We have to take bits from it where we feel we could do better. There's been disappointments in the scorelines, probably disappointment in the performance against Queen's Park more than the result. Last week was completely different. I think from the outside it maybe looked like we imploded at certain points in the game. That wasn't really the case. We actually performed in the game fairly well. We scored a wonderful first goal. Then the red card comes, and even at that point, with 10 men, we were still causing Airdrie a lot of problems in the attacking sense. We're disappointed with the goals that we've lost. Of course we are, as you're in any game, but the boys gave everything last week. It was a difficult afternoon in terms of the way moments unfolded in the game. It wasn't a case of we were outplayed or we were outfought. We actually competed very, very well, and as I say, showed moments of quality and probably should have been 2-1 up at the interval. We had a great opportunity with Comry McPherson to retake the lead, and we didn't take it. So the quality is still there, the endeavour is still there, the attitude and commitment is still there, and we move on.
And we spoke following last week's match about the disappointment, of course, of losing more players through suspension or through injury. How difficult has that made preparation this week? And on that, do you have any initial assessment on Ruben and Michael?
In a very strange, perverted way, it makes preparation much easier because you have what you have. If you've got a squad of 18, 19, 20 players available to you, you have to go and say, well, who we're going to play, who do we think can cause problems to the opposition. This week is slightly different. We don't have that luxury of having our 17, 18 players to call upon, so we'll get a team out in the park that we feel that's still competitive. They play and sign for Morton Football Club for a reason. We think they're good enough. They now need to stand up. Some guys have been waiting for an opportunity to get on the pitch, so here's our chance, and they now need to go and show it. It's over to them. We're probably going to have to bring a few players back into the starting team and bench probably a couple of weeks earlier than we anticipated, but again, that's football. Your hands are forced at certain times. Our initial assessment on Ruben and Michael is it's not too bad. It could have been a lot worse. We'll give them every opportunity right up till kick-off to be available, if not as starting players, but certainly be on the bench to call upon. But there's no doubt we'd like them all fit. We're already missing Eamon, and then when you throw in the sending offs to Cammy and Curtis last week, it has made it a difficult week in terms of numbers, but preparation's absolutely fine.
And just finally, we saw the news today as well that Chris Moore's signed a contract extension. He, of course, joins Kerr Robertson as well. How pleased are you to get those deals over the line, and is there any sort of updates you can give us on whether we can see more?
Yeah, delighted for both of them. Obviously Chris took his injury against Stenhousemuir in the first game, but I saw enough in that game to see that we had a real leader within the squad in terms of he played through the pain barrier that day, probably 10-15 minutes longer than he should have, and it's an injury that's kept him out since then. But I like what I've seen. He's a young player, good attitude, strong, centre half, no nonsense, and that's exactly what we need in this division. Kerr slightly different. Kerr went out on loan. We felt it was a really positive move for him as an individual. Probably now we wish he was here with us because he would be firmly involved in our plans, but we had to be fair to Kerr and go out and get him games. We felt East Kilbride was the best place for him to go, an opportunity to go and try and win a league title, which they're doing very well, and by all accounts he's doing very well. We're keeping close tabs on him, so delighted that he's getting that experience, so when he comes back to us in the summer, he's ready to go and compete in our first team and try and get a starting berth. So that's been really, really positive. And we're speaking to other guys as well. There's always going to be changes in football, especially when new management team comes in, and in the nature of the league that we're in, it's 1-year contracts are pretty normal, so we have to make sure that we get the right ones. We have to do our homework on everybody, the players that are here at the moment and the players out with here that we're looking at. So yeah, the next sort of 10, 11, 12 weeks are going to be extremely busy.
Thanks to the gaffer there. It's really great to be back home. Coming up shortly, we'll be talking to the women's first team manager, Gary Forbes. But first of all, we have a very special announcement. Roll the film. That's right, folks, it's that time of the season again, the Morton Player of the Year night. Full details will be released shortly, and your chance to vote in a number of categories and just get involved. Now, how much does Owen Moffat know about the career paths of his teammates? We decided to find out.
Shug? Is it Shug? No. Goodness. I honestly don't know anybody else that played for Queen of the South. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Could be a loan. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, was? Aye. Hibs, Airdrie. He was on loan at Airdrie? Aye, is that it? Right. Dumbarton. That's hard. I'm usually good at this. Dumbarton. I don't know. Do you know? No. I played with Dumbarton. I don't know. Give me a clue. I don't know. Oh my god, I'm toiling here. I don't know. Pass. Cammy Valentine. He played Dumbarton. Never knew that. He played with Dundee United, Montrose, and Airdrie. I never knew Dumbarton. Shug. Aye, Shug, aye. So, Kelly, Dunfermline, Queen of the South, Morton. Dunfermline again. No. Back to Kelly. Queen of the South. Aye, okay. Aye. Me? Aye, aye. Celtic, Blackpool, Dunfermline. Yeah. Is that Brecon? Aye. Livy, Brecon. Bluesy? Bluesy played Brecon? Aye, did I? So the other teams are played with Edinburgh City, didn't they? So is that the one in between Brecon and Morton? Edinburgh City? That's one before Livy. Came through at Falkirk, obviously. Who did they play with between Brecon and Morton? I should know this. I don't know. Aye. Oh, he told me about that. He actually told me about that. Wow. Oh, Broth. Aye. So, Kelly, Hamilton. Is that right? Celtic, Kelly, Hamilton. Okay. Ross County, Falkirk, obviously. St Mirren, played with St Mirren. Right at the start, in between Celtic and Hamilton. I don't know. That's tough. Was it Hibs? Aye. I haven't used at Queen's Park either. Oh, Bath, I know that. Zach. Aye. So, West Brom, Bath, Inverness, Arbroath, Morton. Bamble Bridge. That's Nath. Is that Nath? Aye. Blackpool, Bamber Bridge, Fylde, Inverness, Morton. Aye. I just know that because I've played down there.
Thanks, as always, for tuning in. We go out tonight with a classic strike against this weekend's opponents, but not before we hear from defender Aaron Comry. It's going to be a massive game on Saturday. I'd urge you all to come along to Capello and get behind Ian and the boys.
Aaron, we're back home tomorrow against the league leaders St Johnstone. What are you expecting from tomorrow's match?
Obviously they're a good team, dangerous at the top end of the pitch, look to sort of control games, so we know it's going to be difficult. We just need to try and sort of impose what we're trying to do in the game.
Yeah, like you say, St Johnstone obviously pose a real attacking threat. From your point of view as part of that back line, what do you see as their biggest strengths coming into this one?
I think all over, to be fair, obviously. They're quick in the wide areas. They've got good options, whoever plays, but I think they also make sort of runs for midfield. So they are sort of pretty flexible in the way they attack. So yeah.
And it goes without saying that the games against St Johnstone recently have obviously been tough results to take. Is that add real extra motivation to the boys heading into this one?
Yeah, I think so. I think the last two times sort of not gave a good account of ourselves, so sort of looking to put that right tomorrow.
Yeah, and what's the message been from the gaffer this week after last week's game?
Just try and get back on track. I think the last couple of home games has been really good. It has slipped sort of for everyone the last couple of weeks, but standard training's been good, positivity's still there, and we're just looking to sort of get back on track come Saturday. I
think you touched on it there in terms of the results at home and the performances at home. It's certainly games that the boys can take a lot of confidence from, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Particularly the last couple of games since Gaffer come in. I think the boys have been really good. Looked dangerous, been solid at the back, so just need to try and continue that tomorrow.